a proposed plan for the closed North Country prisons. We learn about a group of investors with deep pockets and big ideas. Plus, we learned when SUNY Potsdam will announce the cuts it's making amidst a roughly $9 million budget gap. But first, a North Country congresswoman is slamming the president and the governor for illegal crossings after a surge at the border. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Zach Grady. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is admonishing President Biden and Governor Hochul for a surge of illegal border crossings along the part of the northern border. 7 News reporter Chad Charette tells us the numbers tonight and learns what Governor Hochul says needs to be done.
In a statement released Wednesday, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik criticized Governor Kathy Hochul's sanctuary state policies and urged Democratic lawmakers to ratify the House Republicans' Secure the Border Act, which would tighten restrictions on immigration. The statement addressed a tweet by U.S. Customs and Border Protection Chief Robert Garcia. In it, he cited a major influx of border protection encounters in the so-called Swanton sector, which encompasses part of the North Country and the area west through Vermont. Nearly a 1,300% increase since 2020. In the Buffalo sector, which includes Jefferson County, the numbers have not increased in that time period. State Assemblyman Scott Gray agrees with Stefanik in saying the policy should change. He believes New York City's status as a sanctuary city is spurring immigration, even here in the North Country.
We can't solve the problem if they're just going to allow people to settle into New York City, unchecked or anything.
He says he'd rather see a stronger screening process for migrants in the interest of public health and crime prevention.
We know they're not vetted coming through, so we don't have any idea of their criminal background. We don't have any idea of their public health background. We have to have a process in place.
Thursday, Governor Hochul was asked by a CBS affiliate in Albany about New York's sanctuary status. She stated the policy has been in place since 1981, and it wasn't intended for the scenario they're in now. She also stressed the importance of helping migrants find jobs to better integrate into society, and said her administration has been working diligently on what is a complicated situation, and that her strategy will be announced a week from today. Chad Charette, 7 News.
A Watertown man says he and several friends with deep pockets have a plan to redevelop the dormant prisons in both Watertown and Ogdensburg, as well as some empty buildings at the Ogdensburg St. Lawrence Psychiatric Center. The proposal comes from Rick St. John, a recently relocated from New Hampshire. St. John says he was a residential, industrial, and commercial developer. He says he moved to Watertown 4 years ago to be closer to family. St. Jean says he's been reading about the recently emptied prisons in Watertown and Ogdensburg and empty psych center buildings. He says he and 4 well-to-do friends have a plan to redevelop the prisons and some of the psych center buildings into senior housing, possibly some affordable housing, and possibly some light industrial buildings.
This is very preliminary. I want to stress that. Sure. And, it gets a little complicated. Yep. But, we're not looking for any tax breaks or anything like that. Mm-hmm. We're just going to come in, put it back on the tax rolls and develop it and try to help out the tax base and make some money on the side too,
St. Jean ballparks the cost at $300 to $400 million, all of which would come out of his and his partner's pockets. He says he and his partners face an end of October deadline to submit a plan to the state. St. Jean says they plan to pitch their proposal Monday night to Ogdensburg City Council. Interim City Manager Andrea Smith says she can't comment on the plan, but looks forward to hearing from him. SUNY Potsdam will announce its plan to fix the school's financial situation on September 19th. The college is staring down a $9 million deficit. In the past, the SUNY system has helped close budget gaps of around $4 million. That is no longer the case, and the college has been tasked with solving the issue itself. The school has a 5-year plan to bring enrollment between 2,500 and 3,000 students. Enrollment numbers have dropped in recent years, though officials say enrollment overall is up currently by about 3%. As cuts are determined, administrators will focus on bolstering historical programs, student interest, and workforce needs. Officials also plan to look at infrastructure, overhead costs, and new revenue opportunities within the community. The plan has been approved by the SUNY system.
It will certainly be a painful process, but it's a necessary process to a necessary process to ensure the longevity of our campus.
SUNY Chancellor John King will be at the meeting Tuesday, September 19th, when the plan is unveiled. The meeting is at 10 o'clock that morning. A St. Lawrence County legislator says Ogdensburg should change a residency policy so interim city manager Andrea Smith can officially fill the role. In a letter to City Councilor, legislator Jim Regan says the city has benefited from the steady leadership of Smith during a decisive time on City Council. Regan calls Smith a bright light during difficult times. Right now, however, a city manager is required to live inside the city limits, which Smith does not. Reagan says a public hearing should be held on amending this residency requirement.
During extremely difficult times, whenever she's been called on to help the city during some of the most difficult crises in our community's history, Andrea has been the person to stand up and make things happen.
I think that if the council and the community are willing to look at applicants that live within a certain radius or time distance from the city, it's something that I would certainly consider.
Smith will remain interim city manager until at least January. Reagan says Smith has unequaled respect among her colleagues and others within the community. St. Lawrence County's Public Health Director Jolene Munger is resigning. The announcement from the county administrator did not say why Munger is stepping down. She took over as interim county public health director in March 2021 and was officially appointed in April 2022. Her resignation is effective January 31st, but she will take a period of leave before that, prompting an early search for a replacement. We'll head over now to the Weather Center with John Kubis. John, it's quiet out there tonight. What can we expect over the weekend, though?
That looks like a 50-50 weekend, Grady. Some dry conditions tomorrow and then some rain on tap for the second half of the weekend. All right, let's check the maps. First weather, of course, brought to you by Doors Plus and Adams Center, and all is quiet outside right now. Mid-60s at midnight and cloudy skies, maybe some patchy fog developing later on tonight and tomorrow morning. By 6, middle 50s and mostly cloudy, then by noon. Temperatures in the upper 60s and mainly cloudy conditions. So we shrugged off the heat and humidity, and temperatures will be very nice over the next couple of days. We'll talk about that more in a bit. Let's send it back to you.
Thank you, John. One step at a time. This Sunday, North Country first responders will honor their counterparts who died responding to the September 11th terrorist attacks. I got to speak with some of them as they prepared for this weekend's event and learned of the significance of the symbolic climb.
Doesn't matter, one step at a time. 343.
343 firefighters lost their lives on September 11th, as well as 60 police officers and 8 emergency medical service providers. 411 reasons first responders will climb the stairs Sunday of the Dulles office building.
We had a lot of first responders get killed on September 11th. The whole world came to their aftermath. And then 20 some odd years later, we vowed never to forget, and here we are, never forgetting.
Firefighters from across the North Country were at Thompson Park last week, getting ready for this weekend's climb.
One step at a time. Yep. 343 names.
When first responders will come together to remember those lost in the terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001. For the first time in the North Country, a memorial stair climb will be hosted in Watertown.
We're all together, climbing the stairs. It's very quiet, and you just have a lot going through your mind about thinking about what they were feeling that day. So it's a really emotional event, but it makes me feel like I'm a part of something bigger than myself. Along with banners honoring the fallen posted in the stairwells. Starting at 8:46 a.m., when the first plane slammed into the North Tower, ceremonies will take place to honor specific times from that morning.
All of those timestamps mean something, and to just hear it and feel it amongst all of the first responders there it's humbling. It's heartwarming.
The proceeds of the day will go to Priority Wellness Campaign, an organization focused on the mental health of first responders in Jefferson, Lewis, and St. Lawrence County.
It's a very big honor that we're to receive that and to team up with them and work with them. We have some of our members, we're going to volunteer there where we can. We have some that are climbing.
Many of the first responders have climbed in the annual event hosted in Utica. They say they hope Sunday's climb at the Dulles building can become a North Country tradition.
This is year one. There are a number of stair climbs around the country. We wanted to make sure that there was one here that remained every single year in a stable spot that made a lot of sense and was easy logistically so that we could never forget.
The Thousand Islands Memorial Stair Climb begins at 7 o'clock Sunday morning. The inaugural climb is open to all who wish to participate. Delays are expected starting next week on Arsenal Street in Watertown. The State Department of Transportation says there will be lane closures starting on Monday on Arsenal Street between Commerce Park Drive and Massey Street. Crews will be milling the street between 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening, with paving to begin that following week. That work will also be done between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Officials say expect delays during those hours and advise drivers to be cautious in the work zones. And if you have hazardous household waste materials to dispose of, several communities will be collecting it in the next month. The Lewis County Transfer Station in Lowville is accepting hazardous materials between 8 a.m. and noon tomorrow, that's Saturday. Later this month, you can drop off stuff in Canton at the St. Lawrence County Human Services Building. That's on September 23rd. And on October 7th, you can drop it off at the Jefferson County Highway Garage. Still to come tonight, Friday Night Lights are back in full force. Mel Busler is in the building with your North Country Sports Report.
Hey, Zach, we head to the pitch for our Athlete of the Week. He's from Messina.
Plus, Will Salisbury's memory lives on through his art and through his friends. An art exhibit draws to a close, honoring the late North Country artist when 7 News continues.
From the North Country's news station, you're watching 7 News Tonight with Garrett Dumbluski. Tonight's weather with John Kubis. And your North Country sports with Mel Busler.
The winning evening numbers for Friday, the Daily 561 and the Win 4 4576. An art exhibit at the Dulles State Building is ending, but the legacy of one North Country artist, Will Salisbury, lives on through his art and through his friends. 7 News reporter Thomas Caffarella takes us to the exhibit on its final day.
You're going to find pieces from local artists in the area.
Dana Gillian is the gallery coordinator for the North Country Art Council.
Will Salisbury was a genius. He's a legend, not just locally.
Gillian invited artists from around the North Country to show their artwork, honoring the late William Salisbury.
We wanted to honor him, but we also wanted to be very sensitive and work alongside his family. And his niece was absolutely thrilled and honored.
Alongside their work sits Salisbury's artwork, a lasting legacy of what he stood for.
I was alone with it all for a short time and actually found myself weeping just with astonishment and gratitude and honor to be in the presence of such a legend.
Friday marks the last day that William Salisbury exhibit will be on display in the Dulles State Office building. Some of his work has been allowed in the building, but in the past, others have not.
The sculpture beside me, War's bedroom scene, is currently being displayed in the Dulles State Office. However, it has been denied in the past due to its controversial imagery.
Many people weren't ready to hear some of the things that he had to say, and he used his creative genius to get that out there. And you can see some of the pieces here. It's amazing.
As this exhibit wraps up, Salisbury's artwork can be seen in public throughout the North Country, like these metal crows that stand along Interstate I-81 in the town of Orleans. Thomas Caffarella, 7 News.
Friday's featured artist at the Fibonacci Art Gallery in Watertown is one that many from the area may know. Ron McGregor's works were highlighted as part of the gallery's pop-up art expos. McGregor has taught at several different schools in Jefferson County, including as an art teacher at Jefferson Community College. In total, thousands of kids across the North Country he has taught during his career. Ron now spends his time helping run the Fibonacci Art Gallery on Public Square in Watertown, where he displays his paints and sculptures. Ron was able to showcase some of his work Friday. He says it's more about the friends than it is the artwork.
I've been around a while. People have seen some of the work. And that's just, it's great for me, but I'm with my friends too.
McGregor's works will be on display at the Fibonacci Art Gallery Wednesday through Saturday from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. When we get back, John Kubis is in the Weather Center with your full forecast.
Now, tonight's weather.
Quiet outside, some clouds. That's really about it. 65 degrees, winds are light from the south at about 3. And dew points still in the kind of muggy lower 60s. Pressure right now is high, 3003. Has been holding steady over the past few hours. 64 the low, 72 the high, nearly spot on as far as the afternoon high and well above the afternoon, or the average low, I should say, of 51. Records 88 and 32. Mid-60s for you, Messina. 61's Old Forge and Wanakina. 62 in Lowville. 63 for you in Ogdensburg. Take note, nothing going on outside right now here in the North Country as we widen the view. Low pressure located up towards Maine. Attached to that, a cold front. The front's kind of lost its push to the east, though, so it's going to basically remain stationary just off to our east, and that will be the impetus for some rain for the second half of the weekend. Keeping it dry outside right now, that'll be the case during the day tomorrow as well. Keeping it cloudy with some patchy fog overnight. Notice tomorrow morning, there you see all the clouds. A couple of breaks in the overcast during the day tomorrow, that'll be nice. That'll allow us to see some sun, and I think we top out in the lower to mid 70s for highs on our Saturday. Bigger story is how it's not going to rain tomorrow. Lows in the 50s overnight, some clouds, some patchy fog tomorrow. We'll call it mostly cloudy. We'll be pessimistic about it. And your highs will be in the mid 70s in Lewis County overnight. More the same for you. Clouds, some patchy fog, lows in the 50s tomorrow. We'll call it mostly cloudy. Highs in the lower to mid 70s. St. Lawrence County overnight, mostly cloudy, lows in the 50s tomorrow, keeping it mainly cloudy. Highs in the lower to mid 70s. Sunday, some showers in 71. Risk of rain on Monday and Tuesday, then a big cool down after a cold front slides on by on Wednesday. Highs in the upper 60s and lows in the 50s. That's all I have for now. Have a great weekend. Coming up next, Mel has sports. Stay tuned.
Now your North Country Sports.
Time for your Toyota Sports Report. It's a football Friday night around the North Country. Plenty of high school gridiron action. Rob Crone is in to sort out the winners from the losers.
In Philadelphia, Section 3 Class B matchup as Indian River hosted Carthage. Warriors get on the board first. Derek Jones plows in from 5 yards out, putting the Warriors up 8-0. Comets answer in the second. Jeremiah Adamola Sadipe takes it in from 17 yards out. Comets down 8-6. Indian River beats Carthage 54-34. Section 3 Class B football from Adams. South Jeff hosting Cortland. First quarter, Landon Leduc hits Jace Livingston with the swing pass. He goes 26 yards for the touchdown. 8-0 Spartans. South Jeff's D coming up big. Coben O'Brien comes up with the pick of the Ethan Johnson pass and takes it to the house. 14-0 South Jeff. South Jeff beats Cortland 33-14. Section 3 Class C football from Dexter. General Brown meeting Cazenovia. First quarter, the Lions defense coming up big here with the stop of Braden Weesmore in the backfield. Lions take the early lead when Hayden Moody takes it in from 6 yards out. 6-0 General Brown. Kaz looking to get something going, but Bobby Livingston's pass is picked off by Ryan Chamberlain. Cazenovia beats General Brown 30-14. NAC football, St. Lawrence Central hosting Gouverneur. Quarterback Holden Stoll fires deep to Rain Rumble in 2 plays. The Wildcats cover 74 yards to the end zone, 6-0 Gouverneur. Next drive, first snap, Connor Witherell takes the handoff, sweeps left, jets 47 yards to the house, 14-0 Cats. Then it's Stoll with an inside handoff to Lakey Lumley for a 35-yard scamper, 22-0 Gouverneur. Wildcats win 49-0. NAC football, Malone entertaining Canton. Quarterback Logan Peck off a 25-yard touchdown pass to Jordan Perry, 6-0 Huskies. Peck pitches to Connor West for the conversion, 8-0 Malone. Colt Warner, who rushed for 3 yards to the score, 14-0 lead. Then it's Peck going to the air again, 40 yards to West for the score, 20-0 Malone. Malone beats Canton 34-6. Hoffman Cup, Norwich at St. Lawrence, scoreless into the second quarter when Norwich QB Ryan O'Keefe plunges into the end zone. Zach Bushi boots the extra point to put the Cadets up 7-0. SLU gets a 24-yard field goal chance, but the snap is high and the attempt fails. Saints get the ball back on Owen O'Brien's interception, but Norwich picks it off on the ensuing end zone pass. Saints beat Norwich 14-7. Rob Crone, 7 News Sports.
Tonight's local scoreboard's brought to you by Arch Jug, located at 820 Huntington Street in Watertown. Arch Jug, noted for Italian classics, pasta, steaks, and of course, delicious pizza. Arch Jug, with over 90 years of serving the North Country for great food, it's Arch Jug. High school football, Indian River defeats Carthage Cazenovia over General Brown. West Genesee downs Watertown. Lowville a winner over Skinny Atlas. South Jefferson beats Cortland. Governor shuts out St. Lawrence Central. Malone a winner over Canton. 8-man football, Tupper Lake defeats Ticonderoga. College football, St. Lawrence doubles up on Norwich. Boys high school soccer, Copenhagen a winner over Sackett's Harbor. Watertown blanks Indian River. South Louis downs Thousand Islands. Harrisville boys tournament, Carthage would move on by winning in penalty kicks 4-2 after the game was tied at 1. Lyme over Harrisville, 1-0. Elsewhere in boys action, Parishville Hopkinton defeats Brushton Myra. Colton Pierpont over Chateauguay. Girls high school soccer, Beaver River downs Thousand Islands. Chateauguay blanks Colton Pierpont. Lisbon a winner over Hewelton. Harrisville tournament, Herman DeKalb doubles up on Harrisville. Edwards Knox over Lyme. DeRuyter tournament, Sackett's Harbor a winner over the host team. Men's college soccer, Canton over Russell Sage. Potsdam, Western Connecticut State was canceled. Cayuga outlasts SUNY Jefferson. Women's college soccer, Clarkson blanks Rutgers Newark. Girls high school volleyball, Chateauguay over Salmon River. Canton defeats Madrid Waddington. Indian River over Clifton Fine. OFA downs Potsdam. College volleyball, the North Country Classic, Clarkson over Hamilton. Oswego defeats St. Lawrence. McDaniel a winner over SUNY Canton. Girls high school swimming, Potsdam over Malone. OFA St. Lawrence Central postponed. Canton a winner over Governor. And in girls tennis, Copenhagen defeats Beaver River. Well, it's another school year, which means it's time to start honoring our student athletes each and every week with our Athlete of the Week, brought to you by, as always, Watertown Savings Bank. This week, we honor a soccer player from Messina who's being called upon to step up his play and leadership. His early season start earning him the Watertown Savings Bank 7 News North Country Athlete of the Week Award. Sal Peretta of Messina receives this week's honor. The senior soccer player connected for 4 goals and a win over Madrid Waddington. He also showed his passing prowess, setting up 2 goals and a victory over Governor. Peretta has been called upon to play both striker and also occasionally at midfield. Coach Jeff Slack recognizes how important his leadership is by making him the team captain. A talented student athlete.
This year I have to lead the people, lead my team, so then they know what to do and what the expectations are for the season. I've been going to camps a little bit, not as much as I should be, but been going to the turf with my friends and trying to get as many people as I can here to get scrimmages going and 9-on-9 games, 6-on-6 games, whatever we can get. I try to work with my team and not against them. I try not to yell at them as much as I can, and then I try to use them while they use me on the field, and then shoot when I can and where I can. Game knowledge, because I can read the defenseman and give good through balls and shoot when I can and read the goalie and if he's out of position or not.
I think the biggest thing would be his natural athleticism. He's just a natural athlete. He's physical, he's strong, and his work ethic is pretty good as well. He works really hard all the time. When we're not looking to Sal to get a shot off, he can be a setup guy. He takes corner kicks for us. He takes free kicks for us. So he's really involved with most of the offense whenever we can find it. I talked about his strength. He's got a great shot, and he can let it go from pretty far out. Sal's a really hard worker on the field. He's kind of a goofball, and he's a really good teammate. So I think those are 3 of the biggest things that make Sal Sal.
Congratulations to Sal Peretta of Messina, the Watertown Savings Bank 7 News North Country Athlete of the Week. Well, it was the last night, sort of, on area ranges of the Northern Tier Trap League. Here's trap scores, individual results, courtesy of Herringer's Contracting. The roof people who call you back, you say hi, they say hi, 315-782-9129. All the scores compiled by the Temptress of Trap, the lovely Gina Worth. Checking team results from last night. There you see them. By the way, Snow Fun is currently first. Henderson is second. The weather last night was the champion. These two teams will finish their match on Monday with the title on the line. As we go to 25 for 25 last night, we had 19 of them total as we run down the names. And for 2 weeks, 4 shooters have been perfect. Well, that's it for now. We'll pause for the cause. Zach is going to wrap things up.
This has been 7 News Tonight. Thank you for joining us.